What is going on, guys? We are back on Madden 20, New York Giants franchise. We're at the midway point of the season. We are entering week 8. After starting 0-4, we have won 3 consecutive games, and we are now 3-4. In week 8, we will be taking on the Detroit Lions. But before that, since we're right about at the midway point, I'm going to show you the stats for the team and some of the league leaders to this point to see where we kind of are in terms of playoff potential, draft stock, and I'm also going to be reviewing some trades that I did make prior to the trade deadline. So as you guys can see on your screen, we did make some updates to the team. As I've mentioned a few times throughout this franchise, guys I was going to be targeting were on the older side. First of all, Nate Solder, approaching the end of this season, he is going to regress greatly down from the 75 that he already is at. Over 30 years old, also $12.9 million in cap that he was taking up. So we were able to ship him and a 3rd round pick to the Arizona Cardinals for their 1st round pick this year's draft in 2020. Projected to be 18 overall. After we did that, we were actually able to find a suitor for Kyle Lauletta, of course, to the Denver Broncos. For some reason, they just love quarterbacks over there. So we traded Lauletta for a 3rd round pick, moved him out. So now, since we went down 2 players on our roster, we did have to call up a few guys and sign them off the practice squad, which we were able to do so. It looks ugly, but Chad Wheeler will be at left tackle for the remainder of the season here. We're 3-4. As I'm about to show you, not really in the hunt as far as the division goes. So Chad Wheeler, who was a backup, will be taking over at left tackle. We call up Nick Gates from the practice squad, sign him to a contract. 55 overall, very underrated. I mean, he had a great spring camp for the Giants. He's going to be our backup at left tackle. On top of him, we called up Chad Slade, 63 overall. Been kind of tooling around the league for a little while now. He will take over as our backup right tackle, and we're back up to that 53-man roster. Highlights of the first half, as I said, we were 0-4, bumped it up to 3-4. Sterling Shepard actually now has superstar development, which is great. On the defensive side of the ball, again, I've mentioned it before, but for some reason, it's just not tallying that DeAndre Baker is playing any downs. Which is not true, as you will see. We already know that he was star, and we were actually able to get him up to superstar development earlier in the year by completing the challenge of holding the Bills under 200 total yards. So that was huge. He's up to an 80 overall. Now, in terms of league standings, Dallas is running away with it. They are currently 7-0. Browns just behind them at 6-0. Bills having a surprise season at 5-1. Panthers 5-1. Some pretty unusual teams at the top of things here. There's us at 19, 3-4. In our division, though, we are not in the basement. We're tied for 2nd with Philly at 3-4. As I said, Dallas is just kind of running away with it. They're 7-0, but Redskins are in the basement at 2-5. If we jump into the league stats here, Eli Manning currently 20th in the league in passing. Our offense is 25th in the league, defense 17th. Kind of right in the middle of the pack as things go. Nothing overly impressive there. In terms of stats, though, looking pretty good as a team. Eli Manning, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 56% completion, and just over 1,600 yards. So pretty good at the midway point. Rushing the football, Saquon Barkley is just having a dominant season here. 671 yards with 5 rushing touchdowns. Receiving, Sterling Shepard leads the team with Golden Tate about 100 yards behind him. Evan Ingram right there with 375, and even Saquon getting in on the action. On defense, one thing I do want to step up in the second half is our sacks. Marcus Golden's leading the team with 3.5, Dalvin Tomlinson with 2.5, and Dexter Lawrence with 2. Interceptions. DeAndre Baker is killing it. He has 3 total interceptions this season. BJ Goodson behind him with 2. Our defense has been playing very well as of late. Definitely stepping it up on defense. 2 total touchdowns. Grant Haley and DeAndre Baker both bringing one back to the house for a score. And if we're looking at the league as a whole, Tom Brady leading all passers with nearly 2,000 yards just before the midway point. Mariota, very surprising here at the top, just behind Brady. Mahomes, Goff, and some other usual suspects here. Rushing the football, Ezekiel Elliott is just a monster among men. 9 touchdowns, almost 900 yards already. Absolutely tearing it up. Saquon Barkley, 200 yards behind him. Todd Gurley in a close third. Receiving the football, very interesting. Not going to touch that one at number 1 in the league. But Deshaun Hamilton, 540 yards. Willie Snead behind him with 517. Keenan Allen, Marquise Goodwin. A lot of very interesting receivers at the top of the league. That's one thing I do wish that Madden would fix, is the fact that if you put a guy in the slot, he's going to dominate. He's going to get more yards than your star receiver, and I do wish they would fix that. But leading the league in touchdowns is Sterling Shepard with 7, and very close behind him is Golden Tate with 6. So as a team, we are topping in the league, which is good to see, even though our record doesn't exactly show it. On defense, currently the league is being led by DeMarcus Lawrence with 9 sacks. Of course, picking up 5 against us in the first game of the season helped. Aaron Donald just behind him with 7. Michael Bennett with 6. And leading the league in interceptions is Joe Hayden. But good news, DeAndre Baker is sitting behind him in second with 3. So now that we've kind of given a recap and where we sit as a team going into the midway point of the season, few trades have been made, of course, but let's hop right into our next game against the Detroit Lions and see if we can get our record up to 500. We are here in Week 8. Game on the road in Detroit. We'll be facing the Lions, and to start off the game, we will kick off to them, deferring to the second half, hopefully getting our defense to step up early in the game for a stop. Big hit by B.J. Goodson. Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford, of course. Definitely want to get some pressure on him early. There's a star of this team, Kerryon Johnson, very underrated running back, especially when he was first drafted. Having a decent season so far this year at the midway point. Following the run on first down, B.J. Goodson in the backfield, taking down Kerryon Johnson. See if we can come up with a big stop early in the ball game. Stafford will chuck that out and find his receiver downfield. That'll be right about at midfield. 27 yards. Kerryon Johnson finds a hole, but he will be stopped by Grant Haley. Getting the ball, Kerryon Johnson, very often here to start this ball game. Quick pass out to Galladay. Oh, that was Marvin Jones Jr. Carter in there very quickly to take down Kerryon Johnson. As I mentioned, we are on a 3-game win streak after starting 0-4. Went for the breakup, did not get it. Sam Beal. He's on the field. Definitely want to get some stops going here. Don't want to let them in the end zone to start the ball game. That'll be slung out. Will not get into the end zone, but they are getting very close. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4. Kerryon Johnson will battle his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Not the start we were looking to have in this ball game. Of course, with the new offensive line, as you just saw, with the trades that were made, let's see if we can get anything going early on and answer with a touchdown of our own on offense. Saquon Barkley will get past one defender. Barkley with the spin for the first down. After the decent gain by Saquon Barkley, we will give him the ball once again, and he will take it up the middle. See, after back-to-back good runs, if we can catch the defense off guard here. They are ready for it. But we are able to get that out to Sterling Shepard. 27 yards on the reception. Barkley not able to get the gain that we were hoping for, but he does get some yardage on the play. Of course, as we know, man in the middle for Detroit is Damon Snacks Harrison, former Giant. We'll just sling that out to Saquon Barkley for the sure thing. That'll be a 3rd and inches. Make that 3rd and 1. Want to come up with a big conversion here. Backers into coverage, but we were able to get that to Sterling Shepard in time for the 1st down. Out to Evan Ingram. Decent gain on the play. 2nd and 2 now for the Giants. Not able to get anything going. Speaking of sacks, he was right there in Barkley's face. I tried to cut it outside, but everything was taken up. 3rd and 4 now for the Giants. Latimer in the end zone for the touchdown. First touchdown of the season for Cody Latimer. On our first drive on offense, we were able to tie up the ball game here. Taking over on defense, hopefully holding to a stop. We're in the backfield immediately, able to stop that for any significant yardage. And that was the first quarter. Very quick quarter. We are tied up at 7, entering the second here on defense. Kerryon Johnson takes a big hit initially by Dalvin Tomlinson. Marcus Golden came up to lay on some extra punishment. It is now 3rd and 8. They will go deep. Out of the reach of anybody. We will receive the punt from Detroit. Corey Ballantyne on the return. Not able to get much on the return there. Saquon Barkley evading defenders, able to get 8. On 2nd and 2, Barkley was not able to find a hole. Evan Ingram up the middle for the 1st down. Caught it right at midfield. Over the course of this season, we have definitely improved on offense and defense. Eli Manning starting off this game perfect. 6 for 6. He will get that out to Golden Tate for another 1st down. Oh, that was the wrong button. We ended up lucking out there. I accidentally hit the wrong button, sending it to the wrong receiver, but he makes the catch and actually gets 4 yards out of it. No time whatsoever. The blitz was coming. Tried to get it out quick to Saquon. Wasn't able to do so. Now 3rd and 13 for the Giants at midfield. Floats that into coverage, and that'll be intercepted. Mistake by Eli Manning on 3rd and long. Interception. Kerryon Johnson on the rush. 2nd and 7 now for the Giants. Third and 1 now for our defense. Man in motion. Looks like they might have just gotten enough for the first. Nope, nothing. 4th and 1. Following the punt, Saquon Barkley with a juke in the hole. Will get away from all defenders. Saquon Barkley into the end zone. Touchdown, Giants. No one could catch him. Saquon Barkley with a huge run. After the long touchdown by Saquon Barkley, we will kick off to Detroit once again. Big hit. Red Ellison with the tackle. We will take over on defense here, this time up by 7. Play action pass. Knocked away by Jabril Peppers. Well, as you guys can see, the game has ended. Unfortunately, my controller died and I didn't know it stopped recording, but that might have been a blessing in disguise because you guys definitely saw the best of it. As you can see, we lost 38-14. It was 14-7 when things cut out. I'll just do a quick run over the stats here just to show you exactly what happened. As you can see, Eli Manning, 14 interceptions, only 125 passing yards, 39.7 passer rating. Ugly performance. Rushing the ball, we dominated with Saquon Barkley. Just down the stretch, we couldn't get him the ball because we had to pass because we went down so much. Average 12.9 yards per carry, had the rushing touchdown. You did see that. Receiving the ball, not much to talk about. Saquon and Shepard tying for 35. Latimer actually had our lone touchdown. You saw that as well. Now, if we go to defense, and we should probably look at the Lions defense, actually. 3 total sacks. Nick Perry had 2. Mike Daniels had 1. Interceptions, as I mentioned, 4 for Tavai, Slay, Diggs, and Melvin. Slay actually is the one that brought it all the way back for the defensive touchdown. So not a very good-looking performance by us. As I said, you definitely saw the best of it. But what I want to do now is actually in Real Life Giants, as I'm recording this, they've cut down to the 53-man roster and made a few changes to the team. So to keep this as realistic as possible, I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to make some changes and see who I can pick up that the Giants actually picked up, because there's some exciting people that they were able to scoop after cuts were made. So the first move that I did make was something the Giants actually did, which I was so excited about. David Sills V out of West Virginia. Completely shocked he wasn't drafted in this recent draft in the NFL. I was shocked. And then he gets signed by Buffalo, which I thought was a pretty good fit. Young up-and-coming team with a quarterback with a huge arm. Then they cut him. So I was more than excited that the Giants actually picked him up. Currently, he's going to be on the Giants practice squad, but I don't think that's going to last very long, especially if you saw a video I uploaded breaking down the full 53-man roster. This kid is electric. At West Virginia, him and Gary Jennings absolutely dominated. So I was more than happy to pick him up. Unfortunately, doesn't have a face scan, of course, and he is wildly underrated. He's actually up to a 67, so he must have gotten some development throughout preseason, because he actually started at a 64, which is disrespectful to this kid. He's a freaking beast, and he's not going to be starting, obviously, for us yet, but he is donned the number 13 for us, and he will absolutely be seeing some time in the near future. Very excited that I was able to pick him up, and he will be the newest member on our wide receiver group. Of course, with him getting added on, we did have to make a trade. And as you can see here, TJ Jones and a 7th round pick to Green Bay for a second. I think that's a good pickup. So here's an updated look at our wide receiver group. Of course, you know, I love TJ Jones in the preseason. He was doing well for us this season as well in our Madden season franchise here. But unfortunately, trying to keep this as real as possible, and he did bring in a 2nd round pick, as you just saw. So currently, Golden Tate, Shepard, Russell Shepard, Latimer, Coleman, unfortunately hurt in real life, Fowler, Slayton, and then the new update, Sills. Very excited to use a 6'4", 220 wide receiver. Big body target downfield, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I've decided just to pick up a few of these contracts here, just to get some of them out of the way. Obviously, Aldrick Rosas, he will absolutely be coming back. I'm actually going to lock him up. Only 24 years old. So we re-signed Rosas, Latimer, and Corey Coleman. Still very young guys. Rosas obviously was the priority here. The rest of them, I mean, Russell Shepard, not really interested in bringing him back. He's already 28. He's not a starter at this point. Eli, obviously not getting a new contract. Goodson, probably not interested in. Marcus Golden, Of the rest of these guys, maybe down the line, but as of right now, I'm not really interested in bringing any of them back. But at this point in time, we were able to lock up these 3 young guys, so they'll be coming back for the foreseeable future. All right, guys, so that's all the moves that I'm going to be making at this point in time. We are going to fast forward to week 9 and play the Dallas Cowboys in the next video. Again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties there, but we're working through it. I hope you enjoyed the half of the game that you saw. We were looking like we were headed towards a win. Ended up not going that way. But we did get a good young wide receiver. We had to trade one away, but we did get a second-round pick for it. I'll see you in the next one. We are playing the Dallas Cowboys at home. As I mentioned, the Cowboys are 7-0, so let's see if we can snap that win streak at home against our division rival. Coming off a tough loss, see if we can bounce back. I'll see you in the next one, guys.